Professor N.H. Ravindranath, who's a professor of ecology at the Indian Institute of Science, and he joins us from London. Professor, welcome to TRT World. What sort of hope do you have for this COP27?
No, we really have to have hope because the challenge is so big. The recent events, in Pakistan and Europe and United States are so severe. There is no option than having some hope, and we have to work towards achieving what the promises that were made during COP26 in Glasgow.
And what has been achieved since Glasgow? If we look at from Glasgow to Sharm el-sheikh, and how has the world been able to police what's been promised and pledged?
Yeah, I think it's still a big challenge to say whether we can police, what countries are doing. But it's true, there was a call in Glasgow asking all the countries to increase their emission reduction commitments and increase their finance. But only 29 countries out of 195 have submitted, increased emission reduction commitments. So I think there is some progress, and there's also increased funding for adaptation compared to previous years. There is some progress, but a lot is yet to be done.
And just to quote the climate minister of Pakistan, who recently said, there is money in the system when it comes to war, but for climate, and I'm paraphrasing here, it doesn't seem to flow in the same way. And of course, this is a person talking about her country, a third of her country being underwater recently.
Yeah, it's true. Developing country leaders do feel like that. And they're also right. The amount of money spent on war in Ukraine or on, post-pandemic recovery, world has spent so much money. So that means it's true that money is there, both in particularly rich countries and also in some of the, developing countries. But the challenge is the political will and the priorities of different leaders in different parts of the world.
And those priorities, they really seem to have changed now. I mean, if we look at Germany, for example, which is going back to burning coal, at least 20 coal-fired power plants nationwide are going to be in action.
Yeah, no, let us hope it's a temporary blip, and we'll be back to, the trajectory of meeting, the Paris goals. So even the International Energy says that it's a short-term measure, hopefully, and we can be back on track to achieve the Paris goal.
Indeed, we do hope, and I'm sure the world hopes, that it is a temporary blip to going back to burning coal there in Germany. Thank you so much for that, Professor N.H. Ravindranath. Thank you.